Everyone, can you hear me? Okay. Hi. Please turn on your video. Yes. Please turn on your video camera. Yes, please. Yes. Okay. Okay, good. In the beginning, we will practice one greeting in Japanese. Could you please after me? Sure? Okay. So please, everybody, please unmute. Okay? はい。おはようございます。
おはようございます。
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 Some
おはようございます。
Okay, okay. So please do not hesitate. This is greeting. Okay? はい。One more time. おはようございます。
おはよう
おはようございます。
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 Very good. はい。
Good
So, all together. Okay?
おはようござい
おはよ
ます。
うございます。
おはようございます。
Very good. はい。おはようございます。
おはよう
お
ござい
はようござ
ます。
います。
はい。This おはようございます is good morning in Japanese. So when you come to class, you can greet to your teacher with おはようございます。Okay? はい。One greeting already you remember. Good. So welcome to Hayakawa. We are so happy to see many students want to study Japanese language. And this batch is little bit starting little postponed. Today onwards, we are started to learn. You can learn Japanese language from the beginning. Today, which month? Today is which month?
June.
Hmm?
June.
June.
June, yeah, June. Yes, June. Then next month is
July.
July month. Hi. Everybody is in India, Tamil Nadu. Somebody is outside. Somebody from Japan. Somebody are there.
Yes.
Yeah. From here, where you?
I'm in Tokyo.
Tokyo. Oh, okay. So that means already Tokyo is rainy season now, right?
Yes, it's rainy season.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How about the others? Everybody from?
Yes, I'm from Osaka. I'm in Osaka
Oh,
now.
you also Osaka. Osaka is very hot, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, one is from Tokyo, one is from Osaka. Good. Hi. Okay. Actually, this class will starting today, and we are teaching hiragana, katakana. It is Japanese script and letter in the beginning. But not only that, we are teaching culture also. So I'm explaining about one culture. About next month will come one of the festival. I will explain for that. Hopefully this photo can be seen. Okay. Hi. This is called Tanabata. So Tanabata is Star Festival. Yeah. And the date is July 7th. Okay. And this one, you can see some decoration and some letter you can see. Actually, this is written in hiragana. Yes. So, and the decoration also there. During the Tanabata season, maybe July, and you can see, if you are in Japan, you can see such decoration. Yes. And what is this festival? Tanabata is a star festival, of course. And this one is one of the old story. One boy fall in love to one girl. There is actually very hard worker, but after there is fall in love, they are not work. So then some stories telling that is God. Some stories telling that is father get angry and they divide. And in between have a river. Then once in a year they can meet. So they are allowed to meet. That day is the Tanabata.
Okay.
And this is one of the star. I forgot that star name. And the other star also there. And in between is river is Milky Way.
Milky Way. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So I never seen that some stars that meet actually. Why? Because July month is Japanese rainy season. Mostly we can't see, but people is believe this story and write some wishes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. And these wishes, after learned hiragana, you can write also. Okay. So today we are starting hiragana. Sensei will teach one by one. Okay. Then this week, hiragana, katakana you can learn. And little small sentence will become. So while coming to the July 7th, you can write hiragana. Of course, katakana also. Sensei will tell you later, your name have to write in katakana actually.
Okay.
Okay, so it is, you can think about, so how, okay, next, another 2 weeks, this star festival will come. So I will write wishes in hiragana, like that, please make a target. Okay, hi, and it is good for practice also. Hi. So, and the sensei will teach many culture from her experience, I guess. So this is writing in the vertical. Our textbook is horizontal, it's easy to read. Actually, Japanese is traditionally writing vertical. That also you can learn little. Okay? Hi. So this Star Festival is a very beautiful and kids, actually mostly kids are enjoyed. Not only kids, adults also it's happy to see many places celebrate. Okay? Hi. I told that from today onwards, we are teaching hiragana and katakana another 2 weeks. That time, try to write some wishes. Simple sentence is okay. Try to write. And celebrate to Tanabata. Okay? Hi. And sorry, my name is Yuko Shimizu. I am head teacher at Hayakawa. And I will introduce your teacher. Next to me, you can see Miss Kritika. She is your teacher. And the teacher is in Japanese called sensei. Sensei. Okay? You can call Kritika sensei. Hi. Please remember. Hi. For me, as a Japanese custom, we are use a family name. So my family name is Shimizu. So you can call Shimizu sensei. Okay? Hi. So this class will be conducting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, same timing. Also. But this is online, but you can communicate with sensei through this Zoom, right? So please do not hesitate. So please speak with sensei. Actually, your sensei is very fluent in Japanese. So then
Okay.
you can speak to sensei in Japanese after learning hiragana, katakana. Try it. はい。はい。So, we invite you not only class, but also a cultural event. If online will conduct, you can come anytime. But if you are in Chennai or come to Chennai that time, please join. Once a month, we are conducting some event. Okay? Hi. Okay, now I will hand over to your sensei to this class. Hi. Everyone, all the best. 頑張ってください。
Thank you.
はい。はい。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。先生。
はい。クリティカ先生、お願いします。
ありがとう。
はい
はい。ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。
はい。おはようございます。
おはようございます。
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 ござい
おはようございます。
はい、おはようございます。It's so great to see so many of you, and it's also great to be hearing Japanese on the very first day. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kritika, and I'll be your teacher for this course. I hope you're all able to hear me.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hi. Okay. All right. In case there's any disturbance sometime, please do let me know. All right. I'd also like all of your videos to be on, like Shimizu Sensei said earlier. That way, you see, I don't get to feel lonely. It's nice to have a face with a name. And since this is an interactive class, I'd like all of you to participate in class, ask me your questions, answer. I will make it as interactive as I can. I will be asking you questions and asking you to make sentences. It's the very basic level, so it's not going to be too complicated. So I'll be taking you through the basic Japanese, the 3 scripts that we have in Japanese. And from then on, build up to making small sentences and learning greetings and other phrases. So this course will prepare you for the basic level, which is if you find yourself in Japan in the next 3 months, then you'll be able to ask directions, you'll be able to go shopping, speak to the shopkeeper, make friends, introduce yourself very importantly. So things like that. So that's what we'll be doing. So I'm sure most of you, it's probably your first time, it's probably your first experience with Japanese, but there might be some of you, especially those who are in Japan, who might have tried to learn the language by yourself using applications or whatever other ways there are. There are so many ways these days. So you might already know a lot of things, some of the things that I'm saying in class. But we will be taking this forward from scratch. We'll be starting right at the beginning, doing everything from the very beginning. So before we move on, I would like to get to know you all. I might not have time to ask every one of you to talk about yourself today, but I would like to hear from at least 2 or 3 of you. Is there a volunteer?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Rima,
Yes,
and
hello.
as you all know that currently I'm in Tokyo.
Okay.
So it's been a few months here,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I did try my best to learn this language, but I couldn't. I mean, yes, there are a few words like arigato gozaimasu and konnichiwa, but I mean, I cannot survive on these 2 words, right? I mean,
That's true.
so yeah, the thing is, I want to interact with Japanese people because it gets very lonely here. You know, my husband, he goes to his office, like it's 9 to 9 job. So I
Right.
don't have anyone to interact with. So at least I can learn basic words and sentences. So
Yes,
that's the only
definitely.
agenda. So yeah,
That should
thank you.
definitely help. Hi, I forgot to mention this. I'm also in Tokyo at the moment.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and I know what you mean about it getting very lonely when you don't have your own
Yes.
community.
Yes.
And it definitely does help to know the language, just if it makes you go out and interact.
Correct.
And
Yes.
yes, definitely. I very much relate to that. Hi. All right. I'm grateful that you're here, and
Thank you.
I hope I can help you with this. Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. So I will address all of you by your names, by your first name, since we're all Indians, and attach it with the suffix san. In Japanese, you have the suffix which is san that is used along with a person's name, and that is for respect. That is to show respect. Of course, the Japanese people themselves, they have a proper given name and a surname. Everybody has a surname or the family name. So here you'll find that unless you're very close to somebody, unless you're familiar with the other person, friendly with them, there should be some amount of comfort between you and the other person. Unless that is there, you will always refer to them by their surname along with the suffix san. Once you get comfortable, of course, you will be able to gauge what it is, how your relationship is, and then you can switch to the first name. But until that happens, definitely in business situations and formal situations, you will have to always use the surname if it's a Japanese person. But us, of course, we don't have that culture in India. We always use the person's first name, and so that's what we will be doing. So Rima-san, it was nice hearing from you. Hi.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu is thank you. I will put that in chat a little later, maybe towards the end of this class. Hi. The other thing is unless san is the general suffix, it doesn't matter if that person is male or female or older or younger, it doesn't matter at all, whoever it is, you will use the general suffix san. But for certain professions, you will also use sensei. One is, of course, for a teacher. If you're speaking to a teacher, it's always that person's name plus sensei or simply sensei. Sensei doesn't actually translate to teacher. Sensei has a different meaning, which we will slowly get into later. It is also used to refer to a lawyer sometimes, and most always a doctor. So to quickly explain, sensei translates to, I will not go into the details of it, how it is split, but it means somebody who is ahead of you in a particular field or a profession. So a doctor is somebody you go to because in his field, he is an expert. So he's a sensei or she is a sensei. And the same is true for a teacher. All right. Hi. Anybody else who would like to volunteer, talk about yourself? I'd also like to listen to why Japanese, why you chose this language of all the other languages, and hi, where you're from. Who's willing to go next?
Hi, Preeti.
Hi.
This is Kumar from
Kumar.
Chennai.
Hi.
Yes. Basically, I'm working in the logistics company and coordinating with my Japanese partner in India as well as in Japan.
Okay.
Recently, we have a project, and most of the Japanese people are in the Japanese language when we are having a meeting. So then I decided, okay, let's have a study and understand, because the communication gap between English and Japanese sometimes
Yes.
it's getting
Definitely.
complicated, and
Yes.
then they are discussing with the translator, and
Yes.
again the miscommunication started. Then I understand. I told my Japanese people, okay, I learn the Japanese basic fundamental
Okay.
to make them understand.
Yes.
For that reason only, I have chosen this class.
Okay. I understand. Hi. Arigatou gozaimasu, Kumar-san.
Right.
So you prefer being called Kumar-san?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hi. That's true. And it makes it even more complex to translate, interpret conversations, because you need to really get behind the Japanese thinking. And it's very different to ours. And you'll see how culture is reflected in the language, as it's true in any culture. I suppose. But you'll see that a lot in Japanese with the degrees of politeness. They have varying degrees of politeness that they employ in their speech, depending on who they are talking to and what kind of a situation they are in. And there's also a humble language, humble expressions in Japanese. So if you're talking about your own action, then you'll talk about it humbly. If you're talking about somebody else's action, you'll do it respectfully. And the grammar changes depending on whether you're being respectful or humble. So these are all very interesting facets of the Japanese language that you'll slowly come across. Hi. Yes. Anybody else? So is everybody in India, apart from the ones who are in Tokyo and Osaka? There's somebody from Osaka. Is everybody based out of India?
Yes.
Yes.
Soundarya-san, is it? Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Soundarya, and I'm from.
Yes.
I belong to Tirunelveli, which is in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
And now I'm here in Osaka with my husband. And June first week, I came here as a
Okay.
tourist visa. And now I'm eager to learn Japanese just for my career purpose. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's been not so long since you, just a
Yeah.
month,
Yeah.
or not even a
Just,
month.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
how do you like it in Japan? If you can tell a little bit about it to everybody
Okay.
here.
Here, like it's not equal to India, but here it's a very silent place here. I love this place, and I don't know much about this place, but I'm learning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nice. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigato.
All of us, hi, all of us in Japan have a little bit of an advantage to to everybody else in India, because I learned Japanese completely when I was in India. It was only 1 year ago that I moved here. But you learn and then you try to find an opportunity to actually use the language. That's the primary purpose of a language, is to use it to communicate, to speak, right? Reading, writing, they're all aspects, yes, but most importantly, you need to start talking. And when you're not in a place where you have a lot of opportunity, it can get a bit, you need to practice a lot. You need to find ways in which you can start using the language. You need to, if not speak, at least listen to it as much as possible. You need to, that's the first step to start talking, if you ask me, listening, right? That's how we all pick up how do we know our mother tongues? Nobody sat down and taught us the grammar, right, of our mother tongues. It's just you listen from your surroundings, you listen to your parents, grandparents, and then you pick it up. So listening is the first thing. So I'd encourage all of you to pick up listening. Any kind of media. There's so much Japanese media, so many interesting stuff. If you're all familiar with anime, I would definitely recommend you get started watching anime. There's dramas and other kinds of Japanese movies. So slowly, I will try and give you links if there's any available on the internet. So I'll try to give you information about platforms that you can use for listening. But yes, so that's one thing you can think about. Hi. All right. So anybody else? One last person?
Yeah. Hi, Kritika sir. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Actually, I am from Hyderabad, India.
Yes.
I am working as a software engineer, but I would like to do masters in computer science at Doshisha University in Kyoto.
Okay. Okay.
That is the reason why I have to learn the Japanese.
Okay. I'm sorry, who is this?
I am Shivasai. Hello.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Shivasai.
Yes,
Yeah.
how would you prefer I address you? Is Shiva-san all
Shivasai.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Hi. Arigatou gozaimasu. Hi.
Yeah.
Understood. Hi.
Hi.
Gambatte kudasai. All the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi. All right then. So I'll slowly get to know the rest of you. It's not today, in the subsequent classes. All right. So we'll get started with let me share a slide with you all just to Just an introduction to Japan. Most of these things you probably already know. Hi, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
いいですか? Hi. Hi. So I'm sure you can identify a few things on my screen. What is this on the top right corner?
Origami.
Origami ですね。はい。Origami. Yes, origami. It's actually, if you split this word, it's made of two parts. Ori comes from the action to fold, and gami is from the word that means paper. So it literally means folding paper. So this is something that I've been very fascinated by. It's amazing how you don't alter the paper. You have a piece of paper, you don't alter it in any way. You don't add, you don't subtract, you don't do anything. You don't tear, nothing. You just fold it, and then you get so many different shapes. And I find that extremely fascinating. It's the math behind it, although I don't understand it, that is very nice. So I hope, maybe we can try and have an origami session, maybe towards the end of one of our classes, just as a break when grammar gets too monotonous. You can do that. Has anybody done origami before? Okay. I used to do it to relieve stress during my 12th standard exams. Hi. All right. What is this on the top over here?
Sushi.
Sushi. Hi.
Sashimi.
Sushi, sashimi. So how many of you are acquainted with Japanese cuisine?
I am.
Hi. Hi. So what have you tried before?
A lot of it actually. Most of it
Okay.
that you have on your board there, plus a few other
Okay.
things.
All right. All right. Victor-san. Hi.
That's correct.
Hi. All right. So sushi is raw fish. It's wrapped with rice and seaweed, sheets of seaweed. Supposed to be very good. It's very Japanese. There's a lot more to Japanese cuisine than sushi, but I suppose sushi is the most popular that everybody can recognize. Hi. I will definitely recommend you try it sometime. There are a lot of restaurants coming up. I'm from Chennai, and I know that there are a lot of restaurants, Japanese restaurants coming up in Chennai, and I'm sure in other places in India as well. Hi. What is this over here on the left corner, top left corner?
Mount Fuji.
There's actually two things, right? Hi, Mount Fuji. So desu ne. Mount Fuji. Fuji is the Fujisan, the highest peak in Japan. In Japanese, in English, of course, you use mount before any mountain to refer to the mountain. But in Japanese, you use the suffix san. You use it for person, you use it for people, you also use it for mountains. So it's always Fuji-san. For respect, again. And what is this at the bottom?
I think it's onsen. Correct me
Yes.
if I'm wrong. Yes, it's onsen.
You're
I
right.
think.
You're right. Hi. It's onsen. Onsen. Onsen is the pronunciation. Hi. Onsen is hot springs. Right? It's the water that comes from under the earth naturally. So this is a huge part of the Japanese culture. You have hot springs all over, and the Japanese like to get into the onsen, and it has a lot of these rejuvenating properties, relaxing properties. It's supposed to be medicinal and very good. Hi. All right. So what is here at the left bottom corner?
It's a show
One
called
Piece.
One Piece.
Hi. Yes, if you're familiar with anime, then there's no way you will not know this, because it's One Piece, which is a very popular anime. It's become even more popular with the live action that's come up recently. So yes, One Piece. My introduction to Japanese was also anime. as is the case with a lot of people. I think a lot of people I meet who want to learn Japanese is because they are motivated because of anime. And my reasons were I wanted to watch anime without subtitles at the time. And of course, later on, I've come to learn a lot about the Japanese culture and everything, and I was just hooked. And yes, all right. Next to this, you see Nintendo. It's a gaming company, right? It's also very popular, and you also see robotics. Japan is known for its cutting-edge technologies in this field. A lot of students from Hayakawa also who've had interest in robotics are now in Japan, if I'm not wrong. So they moved eventually after studying the language to pursue. Hi. And what is this? What are these clothes that these people are wearing? I'm sure this is also quite popular.
Kimono, I think.
Kimono.
Kimono.
So this. Hi, kimono. Kimono, once again, if you split it, it's made of two parts. Ki is to wear. And mono is a thing. It's an object. So it literally is a thing that you wear. It's a broad category of clothing. And it's come to refer to the traditional Japanese clothing, kimono. You have various kinds of kimono. In summer, you'll find that they wear something less elaborate than an actual kimono. It's a summer kimono. It's very airy and very suited for the weather. All right. Okay, then. So this is just a small introduction, just to get us all acquainted with some parts of the Japanese culture. Before we dive into the scripts that we are due to start today, let me introduce the materials that you all have. Have you all received the kit?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If you haven't, that's all right. It must be on its way. So you must have 3 textbooks. So let me just quickly tell you about them and what you will be needing in the first few classes. So I have with me this big textbook. I hope you can see. It says textbook right here. And along with this, you also have a smaller red color book, which says Kana workbook. I don't have it with me right now, but there's a Kana workbook. And then there's another rectangular, what Rima-san is showing up, And there's another rectangular book, the orange color one, it opens sideways. That's your kanji workbook. All right. So that one. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yes, so the first few classes, first couple, 2-3 classes, we'll only be doing Kana. We'll actually be doing Kana quite quickly. We're not going to be spending a lot of time on the scripts because, truth be told, no amount of time will feel sufficient to memorize all of the Kana. So we're going to get started. I'm going to give you some time, a week, to get familiar with the Kana. And then we're going to start with reading. And once you read, once you're put in a position where you have to read only Japanese, then you'll see how quickly you will be able to, your brain will recognize all of the stuff that you have read and studied. So that's how we're going to take it from here. All right. So it'll be a week. I'll give you a couple of weeks. Take a couple of weeks to do your Kana. And then slowly, we would have already started reading by then. If you see your textbook, the main textbook that we will quickly go into after we finish the Kana, if you open, you will not find any English. It's all in Japanese. I mean, you have vocabulary list where the words are explained and there's English there, but your lessons are all entirely in Japanese. So your lessons are in the form of conversations between 2 more people. So it's the best way to learn a language, really, to see how you use it and in what context, what is said in what kind of a situation, right? Contextually. So that's how it is. So you'll be forced to read your hiragana and your katakana and your kanji slowly. And that's how you will learn. All right. So at the back of the textbook, I think you all have a CD attached, right? So some of us may not have a CD reader, right? In this day and age, computers, right? So I will also show you another way to access the contents of the CD, right? So once you go into the Hayakawa webpage, let me open it for you right now. So you log in with your student login credentials. You must have already done that at the time of registering if you registered online. Hi. So I hope you can see my screen now. So here you click on your class. This is the WD weekday batch 98. So here you go inside and you have this, right? So you must have clicked on the interactive to register for the Zoom class, right? You would have received a mail after you did the registration. So here you see Google Classroom. This is not an image, it's a link. So if you click on that, it will take you to your Google Classroom. And that is where we will be keeping in touch on days that we don't have class, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, weekends, right? I will be giving you homework and you will be submitting them. You can ask your questions. If there are any updates about class, announcements about events, that is where I will post them. So I encourage all of you to be participative here in class as well as in Google Classroom. All right, please do post your questions. Make use of that platform as much as you can. I will not inundate you with a lot of work right away. I'll take it slow, but I'll see. I'll gauge the situation and see what needs working, and I'll assign work accordingly. So that's Google Classroom. If you haven't already accepted the invite, please do accept the invite. It's mandatory. I'd like all of you to take part. Hi. All right. And here you have the recorded section. So all of our classes, all of these sessions are recorded and they will be uploaded here to your student profile. You will be able to access them through this. If you click on the recorded icon, it will take you. You can choose your batch and you can access them. So they will be uploaded within, I think, today's class. By maximum, it will be uploaded by tomorrow. So you will be able to watch the class videos once again in case you feel like revisiting something. So that's to your advantage again. So you can make use of that. And the media over here is what I was telling you about. The CD, the contents of the CD are already here. So here you will find Japanese people in conversation. So the good thing about this is you'll actually be able to listen to the Japanese pronunciation. I will do my best to sound like a Japanese in class when I speak Japanese, but it's also nice to hear from a native speaker. So this gives you that opportunity. So hiragana and katakana, these first two media, it's where you can also listen to the hiragana and the katakana, the sounds in Japanese. After today and the next class, you can access them for more practice, just to ensure that you get the pronunciations right, which is very important at this level. The class presentation that you see here is PPTs, PowerPoint presentations that sometimes I use in class. Sometimes I also, for the most part, I use my own material that I've prepared to explain grammar and other things. But sometimes I'll also, for more practice exercise, I will also use the PPT. So these are also there available for you. So you can also use them for your self-study. And I think you should also have another section which says assignment. It's not showing here because this is a teacher's login. In your login, student login, you will find another section that says assignment. You don't have to worry about it right now. No rush. We can get to it later. No assignments yet. So I'll tell you when we come there. Hi. So does anybody have any questions? Hi. All right. So quickly, you have your textbooks, your physical textbooks, the materials that we will use in class. Apart from that, you also have other things on your student profile. And also, we keep in touch. We communicate, ask and clarify questions in Google Classroom. Hi. All right then. Okay, so I think we'll get started finally and get into the 3 scripts that I was telling you about. Hi. How many of you know what these 3 scripts are? Can you tell me? Actually, you just have to read the screen. Can you all read the words written on the screen?
Kanji, hiragana,
Hiragana,
katakana.
katakana.
Kanji,
Kanji,
hiragana, katakana.
right. Kanji, hiragana, and katakana. So this is probably one of the reasons that some people might find Japanese to be not so straightforward and so difficult. But in my opinion, it's what makes it interesting. Like you will see slowly. Kanji is the first script, and then there's hiragana and katakana. So I'll tell you a little bit about what they are, why they are there. Most importantly, why 3 scripts? Why is there a need for 3? Right? Okay. So is there anyone who can tell me anything you know about kanji?
I think it represents places like, for say, they want to eat fish, seafood. So there's something, they say something like sakana, so it's written in kanji, I think.
Okay.
And for some places
Okay.
also, I don't know.
Okay. Hi. All right. All right. Represents. Okay. Pictorial representations. Let's call it that. So kanji, if you look at kanji characters, these are characters. They look like pictures. There's so much detailing to it. You look at it and you think, oh, it's a lot to take in at one go, because they're also very simple kanji. We'll be starting off with very simple kanji. But there's also 2 complicated kanji. They look like pictures. All right, so they are pictorial representations. And the other thing is, the other important thing you need to know is these are actually Chinese characters. They have their origins in the Chinese language. It's not truly Japanese. Many years ago, until about the 4th century AD, it's all around the time that Buddhism started spreading from India, traveled to China, to Korea, and then finally to Japan. It's all on the heel of that. The Japanese, before that period of time, the Japanese did not have a script of their own. They had a language of their own. They would be able to look at the things around them, the nature around them, point out to the trees and talk about it, the moon and talk about it. They did have a language of their own, but they couldn't write down because they did not have a script. All right. But with Buddhism traveling countries, and finally when it reached Japan, the Japanese scholars, the nobility would travel to China. And traveling to China and having an education in China meant something. A degree, for example, in China, it was very valued. And therefore, everybody went to China at that time. And so they wanted to be able to read these Buddhist scriptures. And since they couldn't, they imported Chinese. They took it to Japan. They never gave it back. They kept it for good. As we can see, even now it's in use. So you have kanji, for instance. Let me just draw a box to indicate that that's a kanji. There's some things happening inside. That's a picture of something. These are kanji characters. So since it's Chinese, there was a Chinese way to read this kanji. But the Japanese had a language of their own. And so there was also a Japanese way to read it. For instance, if this meant moon, there was a Chinese way to say moon, and there was a Japanese way to say moon. The Japanese kept both the Chinese and their own ways of saying moon. They added it to their language. They increased the vocabulary in that sense. So that's how kanji came into Japan as the very first script. Slowly, I suppose when you try and take another script and try to fit it in your language, there are complications, there are problems, it's not sorted. And so that gave the need for a new script to come about. And they wanted something that was native. And so that's how from kanji, you got the first script, which was hiragana. It's actually kana. Kana means characters. I won't say letters or alphabets because they work as little differently to characters. They are sounds. So hiragana, what happens is if you were to split this, hira and kana, when you try to bring two sounds together, they shouldn't dash. They should flow over each other smoothly. It should be very smooth to pronounce. You shouldn't have difficulty in pronouncing them. So instead of saying hirakana, it's easier definitely to say hiragana. It just flows out of your mouth. And so there's a lot of modifications like this in sounds in Japanese that you see when two words come together. So that's how kana becomes gana in this word. But if you look at the next script, which is katakana, it's kana, katakana. That came about because just like in any other part of the world, there was discrimination. When hiragana came about, everybody started learning it and using it. But the problem that the men had was that even the women in the society were able to read and write hiragana. That couldn't be allowed. And so katakana came about. There's also a lot of other reasons. It happened over so many years ago, right? Katakana was used for shorthand initially. So when people delivered lectures, Buddhist lectures, for instance, you needed to be able to take them down. Katakana, if you find the strokes are very sharp and angular as opposed to hiragana. Hiragana is very curvy and round. Let's quickly take a look at it. If you can open your textbooks, your main textbooks, okay? The bigger red color book to page number 2 first. You have the hiragana chart in page number 2. It continues to page number 3 also, but the basic sounds are there in the first page. That's the page number 2. And if you turn to page 4 and see the katakana chart, you'll be able to see the difference in the strokes. You'll find that hiragana is more round, like I said, curvy. Katakana is more sharp and angled and harsh. And so that was more suited for quick writing. If you take notes, you have to be very quick in taking notes, right? You don't have time to focus on the curves and the round edges and all that. You have to quickly be able to write down what the person is saying. So katakana was more suited for that. So over a period of time since then, now hiragana and katakana are used for very different purposes. I will come to kanji later. We will be looking at kanji in detail after a few lessons, not right away. The first few classes will be focusing on hiragana, katakana, and then we'll see basic grammar with it, and later on do kanji. So let's reserve that for later. If I get into the details of what kanji is and everything, it'll take a lot of time. Hiragana and katakana. The main use for hiragana is it's used for original Japanese words, native Japanese words. There are words that are Japanese, they're native words. The word for the moon, like I said, the word for tree, like I said, they're Japanese. Katakana is used for foreign words. Words that come from a foreign language, not just English, it could be any language, French, Dutch, anything. Mostly English though. Okay, so when I say these are words that come from a foreign language, I'd like you to remember that these sounds, of course, they are taken from the foreign language, but they don't make it foreign words. These are Japanese words whose origins are in a foreign language. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is that we can't take liberties with the way we pronounce them or write them. We have to stick to the way the Japanese pronounce them and write them, although they might not be original Japanese words. Okay, maybe tomorrow or not tomorrow, on Wednesday or Friday, when I give you more examples with words, it will be clearer. But this is a very general introduction. Any questions so far? So what we will be doing today, we'll get started off with hiragana. I'll tell you a little bit more about it and then we'll proceed. Hi, any questions so far? Hi, yes, Rima-san.
Is it mandatory to learn all these 3 alphabets? I mean, kanji, hiragana, or katakana,
Yes.
or can we like focus on two or one and skip others?
It is very important. It's a very good question. It's mandatory that you learn all the three, because if you see, let me quickly show you. This is an example of a signage in a railway station. So you see south exit, north exit. You can see there's English here and there because of the amount of foreign population in Japan now. But if you see, you will find all the three scripts. So typically a Japanese document or a Japanese reading material, anything, it'll have all the three scripts. So it's very important that we learn all the three. So if you see over here, let me quickly tell you, what you see over here is kanji. I'm sorry, my writing is going. Hi. So that's kanji, what you see. All right. You also have Korean here. You also have Chinese here. You'll find Chinese in just, since it's from the same. You'll find it to be similar, but I'll tell you now that it doesn't mean that you're learning Chinese simply because we are learning kanji. Because the way we learn it, the way Japanese have used it, have started to use it, is very different to the Chinese pronunciations. It's very different. In fact, kanji is a Japanese word, refers to the Chinese characters. In China, apparently, they are called hanzi. So you see, the pronunciation is so different. Chinese say hanzi. The Japanese have taken all liberty and changed them to the way they understand it best, which is kanji. So it by no means means that you know Chinese if you learn Japanese kanji. It's very different. Hi. All right. What you see over here is these round characters, or not all of it, just this much is hiragana. Oops. Hi. And what you see in the second part, this is an example of a word that's got both. It's made of hiragana and katakana parts. There's not a lot of words like that, so I don't want you to worry about it too much now. But here, you can see katakana being used here. And if you see the words for bus and taxi, these are not original Japanese words. These are borrowed from the words bus and taxi. So bus in Japanese is ba-su. So now can you tell me if this is hiragana or katakana? What could it be? I'm sure you can't read it now, but what could it be?
Katakana.
Yes, right? Because it's, like I said, borrowed. And the next one is takushi. Takushi. All right, it's slightly different to the actual word, which is taxi, because there are sounds that don't exist in the Japanese language. So we'll be looking at that very shortly. There are some sounds that are there in Japanese that we don't have in our languages. So, hi. So this is how it is. So yes, to answer your question, it is very important that we learn all the three scripts. In fact, there's no escaping it. It's just kanji is reserved for a few lessons later, because we get hiragana and katakana, the basics down properly, and then we move on to the more complicated kanji. Hi. All right. But what happens is some script or the other will take a backseat. You'll be looking at a lot of hiragana, it being representing original Japanese words. You will be able to read a lot of hiragana, a lot more hiragana than you will katakana. And what happens is you will become more fluent, proficient with hiragana, and katakana tends to take a backseat. So I advise you all right away to keep them both as priority, not focus on one and let the other take a backseat. Because once you don't give it the priority, then it's difficult to go back to it. So both together. Hi. All right then. So yes, so this is how it is. So I've put both the katakana and hiragana charts side by side so you can see them in one screen. It's from your textbook. I put the katakana on the left side and hiragana on the right side. We will be doing hiragana first and katakana later. Okay, so hiragana first. So this part, the right half of it, comprises your basic sounds in Japanese. Okay, and the number of sounds that you have, the basic sounds, is 46. So it's pretty doable if you ask me, right? Indian languages, you have so many characters, be it Tamil or there's so many other languages. You have more than 100 plus characters, 200 plus characters. And if we could achieve that, I don't think 46 is going to be much of a deal to us Indians. So it's definitely doable. It might seem like a lot, but if you keep at it, you will definitely be able to recognize all of them, be able to read. Hi. So let's look at the first column. How does hiragana and katakana work? I told you there are two different scripts, but the sounds in Japanese are the same. The sounds in Japanese, you have the basic 46 sounds. You can either write those sounds in hiragana or katakana. So you have two different ways of writing the same sounds. This is how it works. In English, you have capital A, B, C, D until Z. You can also write all of these alphabets in small, right? You will pronounce the capital A and the small a the same way. As an alphabet, it is pronounced the same way, right? But when you write it, it's differently. Of course, you use it differently in English. In Japanese, like I told you, these are for original Japanese words. Katakana is for foreign words. But it behaves the same way. It's the same sounds, but you're able to write them differently, depending on what it is used for. All right. Kanji, on the other hand, if I were to give you a simple example, what is this? Oh, this is a long time to think about this.
Smiley?
Yes, it's a smiley. What does it convey to you all?
Happiness?
Happiness.
Yes, it means happy. If you send this to somebody, they get the information. You're communicating to them that you're happy. You don't have to use the words, I am happy. It's just the picture says it all. That's how kanji works. There is a way to read it. It reads happy. But apart from the way it reads, apart from being able to read it, you can also get a meaning out of it. Right? Whereas if you look at the alphabet A, does it give you any meaning? No. Right? It is simply a sound. You put together two or more of these sounds, that can give you a meaning. That is how hiragana and katakana is. Kanji is more symbolic, pictorial. Hi. All right. Okay, so let's quickly go over the sounds. First, I would like to ensure that we get the sounds right. We're able to pronounce the sounds correctly, as close to the Japanese pronunciation as possible. And then we'll see how to write them. All right. So now you're going to sort of go back to kindergarten and do a lot of repeating after me, which is very essential. Hi. So the first line, the first 5 sounds that you see, I'm focusing on the right portion of the chart because that is hiragana and we are doing hiragana. But once again, to clarify, the sounds are absolutely the same in katakana, like you can see. Just the way you write them is different. So the first 5 sounds, hi, I'm going to say them. So please hear me out first and then we'll do the repeat after me exercise. A, I, U, E, and O. All right. So in Japanese, one thing that you can be really thankful for, it's straightforward. The sounds are straightforward. You write like you can hear. There's no, it's not like in English, right? The alphabet is A, of course, A. But in the word apple, is it apple or apple? It's apple, it's A. The sound changes depending on the word. You have a lot of things like that in English, right? That way English is a bit more complex, but here it's not like that. If you get the sounds right, then you will be able to write it correctly. There will be no mistakes. So repeat after me. A.
A.
Yes, I'm waiting to hear all of you, all 18 of you.
Ha.
Hi. Please feel free, like Shimizu Sensei said, there's no need to hesitate. This is an interactive class. Let's make the best use of it. If you make a mistake, then I should be able to hear it to correct you, right? This is not, you're not watching a video, you have an advantage. So let's make use of it. Please be as loud and clear in class. Make mistakes without hesitation. It's all right. It's a completely new language. Hi, once again.
Ha.
Hi.
Ah.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi. I say hi because hi in
Yes.
Japanese is yes. So yes. Okay. All right. So next is E.
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 Right.
E.
Right. E. Next. Yes. Yes. For this, you have to watch me as carefully as you listen to me. It's Hi. So what am I doing differently, if at all I'm doing anything?
Your pronunciation is a bit different. You are
Yeah,
focusing
yeah.
more.
Yes,
like
I
it's
am
a
not
sound between your teeth.
Okay. All right. So for I am not rounding my lips like one will do when you say a sound, right? Okay. You don't round your lips. So wherever possible in the Japanese culture, it is very polite if you don't make a lot of movements in your face. You have to contain the movement. And that way you're being polite. So it's just how it is. So of course, nobody's going to scrutinize you or rather penalize you or anything, but that's how it is. So So instead of saying so all of the sounds that you see will be pronounced this way without rounding your lips. All right. Let's go to the next sound. A.
A.
Right. And finally, O. O. I don't think it's possible to do this without rounding your lips, so you do. O. Hi. O. So once again, let's do this one by one. Hi. Next, E. Hi. Next, right. Next, A. Hi. And finally, O. O. Hi. So these are your basic 5 sounds. And from this, you have the rest of it. These are your vowels. A, E, U, A, O. So these, when you pronounce these sounds, there's no obstruction in your mouth. You can pronounce them freely. Your tongue doesn't hit the roof, nothing. Right? A, E, U, A, O. And from this, you have everything else. So the Japanese system of sounds is the system of syllabary. It's not alphabets. These are not individual A, B, C, Ds. These are sounds. You have a consonant and a vowel. You have a vowel, and then you have consonant and vowel. Syllables. Right? Next, if you see, you have ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. All right? So I'll read the whole thing again, and I would like you all to repeat the whole series after me. The second one. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Hi, now. Yes, very good. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Once again, for the sound, you do not round your lips. That's one thing to remember. Let's go to the next one. It's the sa sounds. So, sa, shi, su, se, so. Hi. Okay. Sa, shi,
Shi, su,
se,
so.
and so. Hi. So what is different here?
C, instead of C, it's she.
Yes. So this ne, hi, that's correct. So she, you have the she sound, which means a SI sound, for instance, is absent in Japanese. All right. So C, a C sound is not there. And therefore, since it's not something they're used to, they find it a little difficult to also pronounce it. That's why in the word taxi, right? Taxi is made of three parts if you can divide it.
Takushi.
Takashi.
So you change it and say takushi. All right. But since taxi or takushi is a borrowed word, its origins is in a foreign language. But takushi is the Japanese word, right? Its origins is in a foreign language. So will you write it in hiragana or katakana?
Hiragana?
Katakana.
Katakana. Okay.
Katakana. Katakana is for foreign words. Right? Hiragana is native words. So in the word takushi, you will use this shi. I'm just telling you, it's just a little bit of information. Hi, okay. Now back to this. I would like all of you to repeat after me. I will read this sa line again. Sa, shi,
She,
tu,
su,
So,
she,
te,
so.
so. All right. Okay. If you have any questions in pronunciation anywhere, please do stop and clarify with me. The next is the tha line.
Could you
Hi.
repeat that line again for me, please?
Yes, sure. It's sa, shi, su, se, so.
I have
In
one
Japanese,
question.
yes.
For example, if someone's name is Simran, so are they
Yes.
going to pronounce Shimran instead of
That's
Simran?
correct. That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
The Japanese pronunciation of foreign names also changes.
Thank you.
So it will be Shimran. Hi. All right. And like I said, it's very straightforward, right? You have a R sound and you have a O sound. There's nothing in between. There's no an in-between O sound. There's A, there's O. There's A, I, U, E, O. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. But there's no O. For instance, the word rocket. Okay, just a small example. There's several examples I could give you. Rocket. I say raw. It's the R-A-W pronunciation, raw. Right? But in Japanese, when you say the same word, it will be ro. There is no raw, right? It's a ro. It's the extreme, ro. Because that's the only sound that there is. All right. There's
So they
something
say
else to
rocket
keep it.
is rocket.
So in Japanese, it is rocketto.
Oh, the T and O as well.
Yes, the final T also can't stand that way. It has to become a syllable. So it's the O, rocketto. Rocketto. There are other elements in this particular word that we will be doing later, such as stressing of a sound and elongating sounds. We'll be doing later, but anyway. Let's go to the next one, which is the tha line, the tha series. So here you'll have to pay attention to all of it, all the sounds. Ta, chi, su, te, to. Okay. Ta, chi, su,
Ta,
te,
chi,
to.
su, te, to.
Hi. So what are the sounds that don't follow the order?
T and two, they both are
T.
missing.
Can you all say that again?
Chi, su.
Right. Chi and su. Chi and su. The E sound in the tha line is chi. Okay. So there are no T sounds. They don't exist. Similarly, there is no tu sound. There's no T, tu. Just like in the previous case, there was no C. So there's no C, there's no T, there's no tu. So in the Tha line, you have chi in place of T and tsu in place of tu. And tsu, you're supposed to pronounce the T in the tsu. It's not a silent that you ignore like you will in English. Tsu. Okay, I suppose this word is familiar. Tsunami. Tsunami is a Japanese word, right? The large, the wave. If you look at this character, it looks like a wave. It's easy to remember that way. Tsu. Okay. Tsu. And then te and to is fine. So let's go over these sounds once again. All right, please listen to me and then you can repeat. So I'll read all of them together at once. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Yes, now you can all
Ta,
give it
ta,
Hi.
Ta,
chi,
chi,
tsu,
tsu,
te,
to.
to.
Hi. Hello? As far as I can hear, it's good. Tsu. It's very important. Tsu. Okay. If you don't
Just
pronounce
a
the
quick-
T in the tsu,
Sorry.
just 1 second. If you don't pronounce the T in the tsu, then it won't be any different to this character, right? That is a simple s. But here it is s. S. Hi. Yes, somebody had a question?
Yeah, so the question was how does the Japanese say tsunami? Because if you're saying it's a two sound, so then it'll be tsunami.
It is tsunami. Na. Mi. These are the 3 characters, 3 sounds that make up the word. The T is pronounced in the tsu. So the pronunciation of this character is as it is su.
So,
Yes, once again, can I have all of you repeat this particular sound carefully? Su.
so,
Su.
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 Su. So it's actually tsunami. That's the right pronunciation. That is the Japanese pronunciation. Tsunami. The T is not silent. You have to pronounce it.
Su.
Hi. All right. The next line, na. This is fairly straightforward. It's na, ni, n, ne, no. Hi. Everyone.
Na,
Na.
na,
Ni, no, ne,
no.
no.
Correct. Okay. The next is ha, hi,
Ki.
hu, he, ho. All right.
Ha,
Ha.
hi, hu, he, ho.
Okay. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. If you listen to a Japanese pronounce the hu sound,
Hu.
here it says
Hu, hu.
hu, very simply hu, which is hu, right?
Hu.
But I would say it is somewhere in between hu and fu.
Hmm.
Fu. It is more a hu.
Hmm.
So what you do is you blow out through your mouth when you pronounce this particular kana. Hu. Hu. It's like saying WHO, who, but with a more, you leave out some air. Who. Okay, so it's ha, he, hu, he.
Ho.
So it's not exactly hu and it's not fu. You definitely don't say fu. It's somewhere in between. So it's hu.
Fu.
All right. The next is the ma line. So it's ma.
Mi. Mu.
Mi.
Me. Mo.
Right. Ma, mi, mu, me,
Me.
mo. Hi, please repeat after me.
Ma,
Ma.
mi,
Mi.
mu,
Mu.
me, mo. No.
Right. Okay. In the next, you don't have two sounds. There are two sounds that are absent. They don't exist.
Ye and ye missing. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I will not say them at all. So the ones that are there, ya, and then the sound you have you, and in the o sound you have yo. Okay? Ya, you, yo. Ya, you,
Yeah.
yo.
You.
Hi.
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you,
You. Yo. Yo.
Yes. Ya, you,
You.
yo.
Yo.
Okay. And also another thing is when you pronounce these sounds, they are full sounds. You don't cut them short. You don't cut them
Yeah.
short, nor do you elongate them. You don't say ka, ni, mu. You don't elongate them unnecessarily, and you don't cut them short and say ka, sa, right? That's the tendency. Generally, when you start learning, there is that tendency to do that, but that's not necessary. It's a full sound. Finish the sound, just as much as it is required. Ka, sa, she, su, right? Hu, me, na. Finish the sound. We will be doing elongations later. Hi. All right. The next one is the ra line. So it's ra, ri, ru, re, ro. Hi.
Ra.
Ra,
Re.
ri,
Ra.
Ra,
Re.
re,
Re. Ro.
Yes. Once more. Ra, ri,
Ra, ri,
Ra.
ru,
ru,
re,
re,
Ra.
ro.
Re. Ro.
yes. Okay. Ra, ri, ru, re, ro. All right. And then the last, you have 3 sounds left. The first one here is va.
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 Okay. Next is, it says O over here, but for now, I would like you all to actually make a correction and make this wo. I will get back to this kana in our later lessons, but right now I would like you all to remember this kana, practice pronouncing it as wo. There will be a slight change that is made to this, but that is depending on it depends on the function of this particular kana, which we'll be doing later. But as a kana, as a sound, please practice it as wo. And finally, you have in. In. This is the only kana in the whole chart that you don't have, that doesn't have a vowel attached. It's in. Right? So when it comes in a word, this will not come at the starting of a word, obviously. It can come in the middle of a word, but it can come right at the end of a word. Okay? Along with in, there's also this pronunciation in. When you say remember, the in. Depending on the word that it comes in, it can also be in.
John.
And it can also have a
Come on.
nasal ing sound.
Okay.
Does someone have a question?
అదే తరగటూరే
Hi.
కదా. Okay.
All right. So there are 3 sounds that this particular kana can take depending on the word that it comes in. It can be in or ing. All right. Once you look at examples, it will be clear once again. All right. So any questions in the pronunciation?
One question.
Hi.
Okay, if someone's name is, for say, Kanye, Kanye, so if this alphabet doesn't exist, then how are we going to write this name Kanye?
Okay. So what happens is the Japanese will always ask the person if your name is Kanye and they are trying to figure out how best to pronounce it. They will ask you for suggestions. They'll ask you for alternatives. So they'll say Kanya.
Oh, so it won't
Is that
create any
all right?
problem. For example, if they have this resident card and my number, so it won't create any problem in that.
The Japanese translation will be that way, but you also have it in English, so that way it doesn't create problems. Right? Your
Okay.
residence card and my number always has your English versions on it as well. That's the main
Okay.
thing that's printed. It's only
Okay.
the Japanese only printed below it. So it's just for the Japanese understanding of what your name is. So for
Okay.
example, there are names like, for instance, Anirudh. Okay,
Hmm.
Anirudh is fine. Is fine. Ni is fine. Ru is also fine. But the id part, you can't stop it like that. It has to be a da or a do at the end.
Oh,
So for
okay.
instance, my husband is Anirudh. So the
Okay.
people, the Japanese that he interacts with always ask him, how should I call you? Is Aniruddha okay
Okay.
or Anirudho okay? He says
Okay.
Aniruddha is fine because it's close to the actual name, Aniruddha.
Correct.
So,
Okay. Okay.
hi.
Thank you.
Hi. All right. Then. So once more, I would like all of us to ascertain the pronunciations properly, just so there are no doubts, right? So I would like you all, I know it'll be at varying paces, but it's all right. Just focus on what you're pronouncing. I would like you all to pronounce all the sounds from A until N, the 46, right? Take your time slowly. The idea is for you to be clear in your minds. And if you have questions, any doubts, you can ask me at the end of it. I begin.
I,
I,
U,
I,
E,
A,
O,
I, U, E,
Ka,
Ka,
I,
K,
U,
U,
E,
E,
Er,
Ta,
ka,
Ta,
ku, na,
Zu, So,
I'm sorry, can I stop?
Yes.
I will set the pace. So you will all follow me, right? I will also be saying it with you. That way it's easy for everybody. Hi. Begin.
a,
A,
e,
E,
u,
E,
e,
O,
o,
Ka,
ka,
Ki,
Ki,
Ku,
Gu,
Ke,
Ke,
Ko,
Go,
Sa,
ta,
Ti,
A,
shi,
Ti,
Su,
Se,
Se,
So,
ta,
Ta,
ta, shi,
Ti,
Su,
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 Te,
te,
Ko, Na,
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 Ni,
Ni,
nu,
Nu,
ne,
Ne,
no,
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 ha,
Ha,
Hi,
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 hu,
Hu,
he,
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 ho,
Ho,
Ma,
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 mi,
Ni,
Mi,
mu,
Mu,
me,
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 Mo,
Mo,
ya,
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 yu,
Yu,
Yo,
Yo,
Ra,
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 ri,
Ri,
ru,
Ru,
re,
Re,
ro,
Va,
va, wo,
Wo,
Va,
Un.
n,
Un,
n,
Very well done. Hi. Any questions? All right. Okay. So now, like I said, all the sounds in katakana are exactly the same. It's just the way you write is different. So now we'll go ahead with how do you write them. So what you can do now is you can all open your Kana workbooks. All right. If you want to write in a blank piece of paper is also fine. We're going to write and practice. It's important to understand how the strokes move, how your hands move. So we're going to be writing and practicing in class. All right. I'll explain how the strokes are. So you can use your Kana workbook. You can also use any other notebook, but I would say go with Kana workbook because since this is completely a new language, if you open your Kana workbook, you will find that there are dotted lines that you can trace. You have two rows of dotted lines, which helps you to trace, and so you can try to understand how it goes before you start writing it all by your own. All right. The idea again is to not fill up every dotted line. It's not that. Just do how much ever it takes for you to understand. Again, you don't have to fill up all the boxes it's not a rule that you should fill it up. No, it's just for your practice. So do as much as you need. Write it as many times as you need to. Hi, okay. Before that, one more thing that I thought I'll tell you is when you write kana strokes, when you write the strokes in any kana, in any character, there's a certain rule that you follow, such as you will write from left to right, and the stroke will go from top to bottom. That is the general rule. It's always left to right, top to bottom. Okay? There are exceptions. As with any rule, there's always an exception. There'll be characters here and there, a couple of characters, where you'll find that the stroke, you'll be required to write it from right to left and take it from bottom to top. There might be one or two. In that case, I will tell you. Okay. Here, what you see over here is this is a storybook, as you can tell. And what do you find in this? What can you see in this? What do you notice?
It's vertical.
Yes, the writing's vertical. If you take any Japanese novel or anything, a comic book, a manga, which is a comic book, any article, any magazine, you'll find that the articles or the story, the dialogues, they're all written top to bottom. So this is how you read it. So it says ne, zu, mi, no. So that's how it is, top to bottom. And it's from right to left. So you begin
It's
here.
always vertical, or exception is there. At times it's horizontal also.
There are exceptions. For instance, there are some documents that are written horizontally. Okay. This
Okay.
kind of writing is called tategaki.
Okay.
I will write it here, tategaki. There are also times when they use the horizontal writing, and that's from left to right. And that is called yokogaki. This is just for your information. But yes. So this is like, it's standing upright, vertical. So tate is actually to stand. Hi. But not to worry. Your textbooks are all, it's your normal left to right. It's horizontal. You'll be reading it normally. Maybe when you go to the other levels, the higher levels, you'll find maybe a story here or there as part of your textbook. That will be written in the vertical, in the traditional. This is a very traditional way of writing Japanese.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. So this is just an idea as to how the characters have come up, but I don't want you to worry about this too much. Too much information may not be too great right at the start. So I'll just skip this, come back to it maybe later, and we'll dive right into hiragana now. So what is the first kana that we will be looking at?
Ah.
That's right. So feel free to speak out loudly, right? We're all doing the same thing, so you're not going to be a nuisance to anybody else. As you write the kana, feel free to pronounce the sound out loudly. Hi. So let's start with the first one. That's the first stroke. So clearly you see it's left to right. Okay. And then the second stroke is a top to bottom stroke. Right? Top to bottom. And then the third stroke is like this. It's a loop. It's a kind of a big loop. All right. So you'll see the first stroke. The second stroke, if you see, it's not a straight line. Is it a straight line? No. It's slightly curved. Even this has got a curve. So it's like that. So you have to sort of, if you were writing with a marker on a board, then I would suggest you leave your wrists really free. Don't hold it too tight, because hiragana requires you to be free. The characters require you to write unrestricted.
Okay.
All right. And the third one is a big loop. So it sort of wraps around the vertical line. Let's call that vertical line a stick. So you have a loop around the vertical line. You know, it's like that. That's the image. So hi, let me write it also so you can see. 1, that's the first stroke, horizontal. The second stroke is like that. And the third is like that. I'm sorry, my writing is not perfect because I'm writing on a monitor. So my hands tend to tremble sometimes, but I would like you all not to focus too much about your handwriting at this time. Don't worry about where do I stop? Is this stroke too long? Is this stroke too short? I would like your thing to, the way you write, to look something like this, Kana, that you see on the screen or on your workbook. Hi. All right. If you'd like me to play it again, please do let me know. So this is A. Next, Kana is E, and this is slightly a bit more. There's a little bit of attention you need to pay to this. This is the first stroke. And that's the second. So it's left to right. Even the order of the stroke is the left stroke. So you can clearly divide this to the left portion and the right portion. So the left portion comes first and then the right portion. Even if I didn't have to say this, I think it's pretty natural that we all will do it that way. Left first, right next. These are the rules, right? And here, if this is the axis, you can see that both these strokes are tilted. They are not straight. Are they straight like this? No. It's more like they are lying down like that. Slightly inclined. Okay? So, yes. What you see over here, now this is something that I'll have to tell you about. So, these characters that you see are brush strokes. Originally, everything was written using a brush. So these are, brushes used for calligraphy also. So these brush strokes tend to leave a mark here or there. So when you're holding a brush and you write a stroke, and then when you stop to go to the next stroke, you tend to leave a mark at the bottom of the previous stroke. All right, so that is what this is about. So you come this way and then you sort of leave a mark and then you go to the top and finish that. So this mark is not to be made consciously. It's not required that you have to be conscious of it. This is just a brush stroke. So when I tell you something is a brush stroke, you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay. What happens is the more you look at something, the more you try to replicate that in your writing as well. That's what we end up doing. So most of us write this way. But even if you ignored it, it's fine. Okay. So make sure it's slightly tilted, right? So it's like this. And there's just enough gap between the two. They shouldn't be too close. Let me give you an example, just a general idea. All right. Let me use this portion of the, suppose there were boxes allocated for each of these characters. Okay. Now we have learned two kana so far. So I'm going to write A here and E here. So I have to fill this box, right? So there's A. So in this space that I have for E, I will give the gap sufficiently, just enough. It shouldn't go outside like that, or it shouldn't be too small like that. It's just a general idea. These are imaginary boxes, by the way. It's a space that you fix when you write for that character. All right. Sugi. So E, this is how you write it. What's the next one?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's right. Ooh. So let's look at ooh. You have this top stroke. It's a small, tiny stroke. It's almost like a dot. If you were to take a brush and just put a dot, it'll leave that stroke. You don't have to drag that brush out at all because that is the shape of the brush, right? So it's like a dot. It can't even be called a stroke. So that's on the top. And then, okay, so here, top to bottom. You tackle the top stroke first, and then you tackle the bottom stroke. The bottom, again, it's left to right, and then top to bottom. Be really free when you write it, right? You just have to let your hands flow, bring it down without thinking. Hi. The next is, what is the next sound? Can you all tell me? A. Very good. A. A. So once again, here you have a tiny stroke on the top, just like U. Okay, because these are tiny strokes, we tend to forget them when we practice them. Make sure you don't forget them. These are part of the kana without which it's not complete. Okay, so this is the first stroke. And then you have this. It's kind of like a Z, the alphabet Z, but it's not straight like this, is it? It's like that. You take it up, bring it down, and then again, it's not a straight line. There's a little bit of curve that you have to include. This curve is important. Okay, it's not a straight line, no. Okay, the top stroke once again is important. So let me play that again. It's 1 and 2. A.
What do we call this dot-like structure in Japanese language?
There are a lot of terms for these things. There's dot, there's swish, there's hook.
Swish.
But
Okay.
yes, I don't want to get into that now because
Okay.
it will sort of distract us from. I can give you a lot of information, but I'd like us to focus on how to write it for now. Maybe I'll
Okay.
talk about all of that later once we are done with this.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank
Right.
you.
The important things to remember while doing your kana, while practicing your kana, is the stroke order. So remember that's always left to right, top to bottom. Each stroke, and also for the order of strokes in the kana. The left stroke comes first and then the right. The top will come first and then the bottom. Like in this case, right? The top first and then the bottom. All right, what is the next kana? Oh, very good. Oh. So, oh, you have a horizontal line and then a vertical loop. And this is also important. Another stroke on the side of this. But if you see the distance is a bit, it's not too close to the character. So once again, this is a stroke that when you initially practice, we tend to forget about. So you'll have to make sure that you don't forget. There are 3 strokes to the character O. So the first one is this vertical line. The second is the horizontal loop. You'll find a lot of loop strokes in hiragana. Okay. And then the third stroke to the side. O. So let me also write it. 1, 2, and 3. What is it very similar to? Did this bring to your mind any other kana that we have seen just now?
Ah.
Ah, right? That's the closest it looks like. So ah is, although it's very different. So if you were to write ah, it's horizontal, a vertical line that is complete here. The loop is the third stroke. Right? That is ah. So there is a difference, although it might seem like they are similar. Okay, all right. So that's A, E, U, A, O. What is the next kana?
Ka.
Ka. Okay,
Sa.
can you all give me the sounds of this line, all the 5 sounds?
A.
Ka,
Ka. Ki.
Ka.
Ku.
ki,
Ke.
ku,
Ko.
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 Very good. All right. So let's look at how do you write ka in hiragana. That's 1. Okay, so this stroke, it's curvy. right? It's not sharp, it's curved like that. And then a line passing through it, a vertical line, not a straight line. This is also inclined. And then you have a proper stroke to the side. It's a pretty long stroke. It's not a dot. It's not a brush dot. It's a stroke. You have to bring it down. Okay, once more. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So if I were to write it again, it will be 1, 2, and 3. Ka. Oh, the next is ki. So ki has, this is ki. So how many strokes was that? Let me play it again.
4.
Yes. 3 and 4. So there are 4 strokes. But if you look at printed versions of Japanese, of hiragana, if you were to type it out in a Word document, it will be slightly different to this. But this is how we write it. If you're writing it by hand, this is how you write it. There are 4 strokes. So this is what you follow. Okay, even in your textbooks, you'll find this. But when I show you a Word document, I'll start sharing Word document when I start grammar. So in that case, you will find that it'll be like this. I've made it 4 strokes, but it's actually 1 stroke. So this and this will be joined, but that's not actually right. That's not the way that you should practice it. It's just what you will come across when you see, and you have to read through documents online and mails and all that, but this is not how you should practice it. Let's stick to what is in our textbooks and workbooks. All right. Hi. So here, 2 horizontal lines. If you pay attention, the second horizontal line is slightly shorter than the first. That's something you can also take care when you practice. And then there's a line that cuts through it. None of them are straight lines. They're all inclined as if they are laying down like that. And then you have a stroke at the bottom like that. Okay, this is very important. This stroke is very important. The bottom stroke. That's what makes this the hiragana character ki. Next is ku. Ku is very simple. It's 1 stroke. Okay, the moment you take your pen off the paper, that means the stroke is complete. You take the pen off the paper, the 1 stroke is complete, and then you finish the 2nd stroke. Remove the pen off the paper. 2nd stroke is complete, and then you do the 3rd one. That is also complete. Here, I start and I don't finish. I don't take my pen off until I finish. So that is 1 stroke. Ku. So this is like your greater than, less than, whatever sign. Ku. Alright, there's no need to make this too sharp, like there's no need. Although you will find some people write it this way, the Japanese also. Like I said, it's one's handwriting is different than the others. So, but that's not an important point to make a note of. So that's good. All right. Next is K. So this has distinct parts, 2 parts to the, just like E. It's got a left stroke and then you have something happening on the right. So you can divide this. So obviously you will do the left part first and then come to the right part. Okay. So 1, the stroke that you see at the bottom is only a brush stroke, so don't worry about it. The right portion, the horizontal stroke comes first and then you drop the vertical. None of them are straight lines. Even if they start out to be straight, you see at the end there's a curve. Right. Okay. Hi. The last kana in this line, what is it? Ka, ki, ku, K and
Ko.
ko. Right. So ko is a character that looks like it's lying down properly, flat. The axis, it's like this, right? Something like E, but E is lying down. So the top stroke is smaller, slightly smaller than the bottom stroke. You see, they are both not straight lines, they're both curved, right? And this is a brush stroke that you needn't worry about. So that's ko. Ka, ki, ku, ke, and ko. Okay, what is next? What is the next line? Can you give me all the sounds?
Sa.
Sa.
Sa,
Sa.
sa,
Sa. Shi. Su. Se. Su.
su,
Se.
se,
So.
So.
Okay, very good. So remember, it's she and not si. So the first is sa. So this begins like ki. You have a small vertical line, inclined. But the second stroke is you cut through it. Okay, ki is like this, right? Sa is like this. In fact, the third is also very similar to ki. This is just short one stroke. Sa. All right. This is also another kana that you'll find there's a difference between what you write, handwritten, the calligraphic version, to the printed version. So here it is, you don't connect it when you practice it, but you'll find versions where it's connected just like ki. Okay. So when you see this, when you come across this, please know to read that it is sa, but don't practice it like this. So once more, 1, 2, and 3. Sa. Okay. Next is she. So she is a simple single stroke kana. That's all. So you bring the stroke down and take it up very freely. Okay. Just like that. She. Okay. Next is su. So here you'll find a loop. There's a horizontal line and then drop with the loop and then bring it down. Once more, horizontal line, drop with the loop and bring it down. The whole thing, the second stroke it's one whole stroke. But it's got a loop. All right. So some of the mistakes that we make is just for ease of writing. It's very difficult to get a clean loop stroke like that initially when you write. So just for ease of writing, when we didn't know that stroke order, how you wrote kana mattered, we would make this 3 strokes, which was wrong. We do this and then draw the loop afterward, which is not the right way to do this. So let's all follow the stroke order correctly. 1 and 2. Okay, 1, bring it down, loop and bring it down. Hai. So the next kana is se. So 1, 2, the tiny thing down there was a brush stroke, and 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, and 3. Se. So here you'll find that it is slightly, I hoped somebody would notice. You have the left to right horizontal, but the next stroke, you don't do the left part first. You do the right one and then the left. So this is a sort of an exception to the rule. All right. Horizontal, the right vertical first and then the left vertical. This again, you're bringing it down and you're taking it to the right side. So that's fine. Stay. Hi. Next, so. So is one complete long stroke. Okay. So it's like a Z and an inverted C at the bottom. Once more, let me play this. One and finish. So it's like a Z, right? It's like A. This is A. Not E, this is A. A as in the word elephant. But this part is straight. And then you bring it down. It's one whole thing. So. Hi. So. Yes. The next is the Ta series. Can you all give me the sounds of the Ta line?
Ta,
Ta,
chi,
chi, su, te, to.
to,
Yes.
to.
Yes. Tsu, te, to. So you have ta, chi, tsu, te, and to. It's tsu. The E sound is chi. Okay, completely unrelated, but that's the sound. And the U sound is tsu.
Su.
All right, let's look at how you write all of these characters. Ta, a horizontal line, and a vertical line that is not straight, it's inclined. And then you have a small ko. Can you all take a quick second to recall ko? You have that at the bottom over here. All right, so this is ta. Once again, 1, 2, and a small ko at the bottom right. That's ta. There are questions, I've had questions before. How do you pronounce ta? Is it T-A, ta, or T-H-A, ta? Pronunciation wise, it is T-H-A, ta. It's not the hard, harsh
Ta.
ta. It's not. It's ta. There's only one.
Ta.
Right?
Ta.
Ta, right. But when you were to, if you were to write this in English, if you were to write any Japanese in English, you will not use THA to write it. You just say TA.
Ta.
Hi. Next is chi. So 1, and the second stroke is like this. So you bring it down and then a curve at the end. It's also like an inverted C. Right? So once more, chi. 1, 2. Chi. Tsu. Again, can you all think of tsu? I think you can all recall tsu from what I told you.
Tsunami.
Tsunami, it's like a wave, right? Can you all picture it?
Yes.
Hi, there you go. That's the wave. That's the character for tsu. Just makes it easy to remember. That's all. Tsu. So there's one kana you don't have to worry about memorizing. Tsu. Next is te. So once again, you have the inverted C. I say inverted, it's the mirror image, I suppose. C over there. There's a lot of characters like that. What is this? Define. Hi. So, correct. Just putting it there. There's a lot of similarities that you will find. Te, by the way, this is te.
Yes.
Hi. Te. Finally,
To.
1. Hi. To.
To.
Second stroke.
To.
To, right. So 1 and 2. This is more like a top to bottom. This is more vertical than horizontal. And then again, you have this, this C. shaped. That's to. And I'm going to stop with this for today. There's quite a few characters that we did. Initially, it is going to be monotonous this way because you're learning a new script, not one, but two to begin with, and then you learn the third one later on. So, but that's why I'm not going to take too long. We're going to be done with this, the first two classes, and then I'm going to leave it to you to do the practice. But it's very important that you practice. Just before we wind up, I did not just a few rules that we should follow in class. All right. I did not want to begin the class with talking about rules, but I'm certainly going to end it with this. So one thing is that it's very important that you're on time. So let's try to log in 5 minutes before the class begins. That is whatever, depending on where we are. 10:55 if you're in India, or what is it, 2:25 if you're in Japan. So, hi. So it's very important. Punctuality is very important. It's all about not taking the other person's time for granted. So let's all log in fast, quickly, because that's what is mannerly. But the other important reason is that I'll get started immediately and I don't want anybody to fall back, because if I start, then if you join in late, then you're going to miss out on what was done, and I will not have the time to go back just for that 1 or 2 people and explain the whole thing again. So just so we're all on the same page throughout, we'll all begin sharp at the time we're supposed to, and so I'd like you all to log in early. All right. The other thing also regarding this is I already told you at the start, but please do turn your videos on. Most of you have, but I can see 2 or 3 people who haven't. It's very important. I do expect to be able to see all of your faces. Please be prepared for this like it's a classroom. I know we are online. We're all doing this from our homes, the comfort of our homes, but it's important that we follow everything as if we are in a classroom. That makes it just a few things established, right? It makes for ease of communication also for me. So I know exactly what is going on. Otherwise, I'll be lost. All right. The other thing is the practice part of it. I don't have to say it. It's not important that you just come to class regularly. It is very important that you do that. Please don't absent yourself. But also, whatever little work I give you, it's not going to be a lot, I promise. Whatever it is that I give you, it's calculated. It's to help you come to class prepared when you do the next class. So if I give you some work and you do it and come back to class, I'm telling you, I promise that it's going to give you a sense of confidence. It'll keep you prepared and you're going to enter class knowing you're not going to be lost. You won't fall behind, right? It'll give you the necessary motivation, all right? And it'll give you that feeling of you'll want to pat yourself in the back for it. Don't deny yourself that feeling, right? So whatever work I give you, please do finish it. I'll give you small exercises. Sometimes I'll ask you to, just sit in front of your laptop 10 minutes before class starts and do a quick reading and come. I'll maybe post a reading material in Google Classroom and say, just read that and come, just for practice. And we'll probably discuss it in class once we start. So things like that, it really helps. So please make sure you do everything that I ask you to do. You will find it gets easy. And the third, you can see it says, give consideration to the other students. It's about being punctual, right? If you start late, then all of that happens. And also when you ask questions, it's just you make sure that whoever is talking, whether it's me or some other student, you wait for them to finish and then raise your question. You can, if you don't want to interrupt, you can put in your questions in chat so I can take a look at it. And if it's not immediately relevant to what I'm saying at the moment, I can push it to until later. Maybe at the end of the class, I'll address it. So it's small things like that. All right. So yes, it's always important that you find interest I know we all have goals, right? I want to crack the JLPT examination. I want to get the N5 certificate, the N4 certificate. All of that is there. We all have those goals. We have to work with those goals. But it's also, I'd advise you sort of develop an interest in Japanese, the culture of it, which is why I introduced some of it to you at the start of this class, because that sort of helps keep your interest afloat. It gives you the necessary motivation to continue, because this is not a very easy language. So you need other sources of inspiration and motivation. It always helps. Okay, so with that, I think I will stop talking. So to sign off, arigatou gozaimasu. Let me put that in chat so you all know what the pronunciation is. It's a bit of a long word. Hai, arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigato.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou
Hai,
gozaimasu.
hai, arigatou gozaimasu. I'll see you all on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Hai, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Ma'am, one question.
Yes, yes, please.
On page number 1, we have A in this
Yes.
Kana textbook. Then what is this on page number 2?
Page number one. Page number 1.
Yeah, page number 1 is alphabet A. And then what is this on page number 2?
I'm sorry, I think the page numbers is mixed up. I think I have an old version of the textbook. So you have the hiragana chart first. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, with your workbooks. You're talking about your workbooks. Yes, yes. All right. So the left side is the hiragana A, and on the right page you have the katakana A.
Oh,
If you
okay,
turn the
okay.
page, it's the hiragana E and
Okay.
katakana E. So it's to help you
Okay,
practice both
fine.
simultaneously. Hi.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi.
hello Kritika. Yeah,
Yes.
listen. Yeah, sorry. You used 4 to 5 words, right? Like Ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa.
Yes.
That,
Ohayou gozaimasu.
yeah. That all the words you teached me, you teached all, right? Can you put on chart that all words?
Okay. Yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
Hi. So arigatou gozaimasu I've already put in. That means thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
And the greeting that we began the class with is Ohayou gozaimasu. I would ask you not to read too much into my typing, because there's elements to it that I haven't talked about in class yet. Obviously, we are still with Kana right now. I'll have to talk about elongation of sounds and all of that.
Okay.
I'll explain what these greetings mean exactly in our later classes.
Okay.
Because these actually don't translate to thank you. These don't translate to good morning. They have different meanings. Quite interesting. I'll get to it later. But in English, you say thank you. In Japanese, you say arigatou gozaimasu for the same sentiment. Right? In English, you say good morning. In Japanese, you say ohayou gozaimasu. It's like that. For the details, you'll have to wait a little longer. Hi. Konnichiwa was it? Konnichiwa is just hello or good afternoon. So that's the last one. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. So you see a double N over there. So that means you pause there. It's not konnichiwa. It's konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Right. So I hope that answers your question, Shiva-san. Anything else?
Yeah, no,
Hi.
thank you. Yeah.
Hi.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimashita. Mata Wednesday. We'll see again on Wednesday. Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.